Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are discussing Mercury retrograde in Leo. We're going to discuss Mercury retrograde in Leo, as well as what it means for your sun, rising and moon sign. Now, I would suggest looking at your sun sign, especially for Mercury retrograde in Leo, because Leo is ruled by the sun. So that's vitally important, especially the house that your sun is in. So do watch this video in entirety, and if you'd like to book a reading, there's a link down below, as well as if you'd like to have your website designed, SXP Tech can help you with the website designing and their creativity. Link down below as well in the description. Mercury retrograde in Leo, July 18th until the 11th of August. Now, Mercury entered into the pre-shadow period on June 30th. And the post-shadow period will end on the 25th of June, okay? So this will be the period where we can notice that we have these challenges. The retrograde period is when we feel the intensity of it, and then afterwards, it slowly winds back to normal. So that being said, if you would like to book a reading for Mercury retrograde, I do offer Mercury retrograde readings as how it is influencing you and what is happening within your natal chart. If you'd like a Mercury retrograde guidebook, the ultimate guide to surviving Mercury retrograde, I do have that available on Amazon as well as available on my website. And you can contact me via my email or through my website if you'd like to basically get your hands on that. So let's talk about Mercury retrograde, okay? So Mercury is the planet. What does it rule over? Communication, our ideas, our mind, short distance trips, vehicles, so your car, as well as so our neighborhoods, traveling, our mind, all of these things, technology, tech, because it's all a form of communication. So all of these things are highly influenced with Mercury, as well as sales. I think a lot of people don't focus on the fact that Mercury is communication. And if you're in the line of sales, it has a lot to do with communication and money, because it's how you basically communicate. And this is what gives you that contract, that deal. So when Mercury goes retrograde overall, we can notice that we have more delays in communication. So that friend that was supposed to get back to you doesn't get back to you. You can have delays where that contract, that work opportunity takes longer to come through for you. You can notice that you have more technology difficulties. So make sure that you back up all your information. This is just for all Mercury retrogrades as an overall, because that's what Mercury influences. Another thing, when it comes to making appointments, make sure you check and double check. Give yourself enough time to get there. Delays, traffic happens, movement of things becomes slower. Our mind can also feel like we're under a mental fog. This means that we can feel kind of spacey, right? It's hard to concentrate. We're more reminiscent on past events. Retrogrades help us reflect on the past. So this is what it encourages, especially Mercury. We can also notice people from the past come back into our life during retrogrades, especially Mercury, people we communicated with. And that can be everyone and anyone, especially during a Mercury retrograde, from ex-lovers to old colleagues to someone that you haven't seen in a long time. Mercury has that ability when retrograde to give you that opportunity to reconnect with your past in some way. Leo. Now, Leo rules over our heart, love, romance, fun, pleasure, children. Our sense of confidence. Leo's ruled by the sun. Hence why, during a Mercury retrograde in Leo, your sun becomes vitally important, because your sun is your vitality. It's your personality. It's your driving force of core identity and how your soul evolves. So you can note that we are tested with Mercury retrograde in Leo when it comes to our sense of confidence, our growth as a person, as well as what motivates us. So do take care of that. So Leo ruling over children. If you have kids, this is where you can notice that you're interacting more with your kids. A Mercury retrograde, especially now in Leo, is going to bring back past lovers, especially romantically, past flings, people you've dated. And what we can also say about Mercury, it brings hidden information to light. This is very prominent with Mercury retrograde, and I've noticed this time and time again. If there's anybody that said something in the room and you weren't there, this is when it comes to your ears. Mercury retrograde gives you that. So anything done in secret comes to light. Communications in secret comes to light. Your intuition also becomes more pronounced during Mercury retrograde as a whole. With Leo's influence, this is definitely when it comes to romance. It can also be within family, because Leo rules over children, your childhood as well, and not just the children that you have. So family members, people you've known from childhood, those type of people can come back into your life. Or if they've been, saying things about you in rooms that you weren't in, this is where you get the information. You can get information when it comes to someone you're dating. How honest and truthful are they about the connection? That is Mercury retrograde, especially in Leo. You're going to reanalyze and refocus on your sense of confidence. Confidence will be a big thing. How do you put yourself out into the world, right? No matter your profession, no matter if you don't have a profession, your sense of confidence. That is what Leo is about. What makes you feel confident? And this Mercury retrograde in Leo is going to really ask us, how can we reignite our sense of confidence, reignite our sense of passion, reignite our romance, reignite our childhood, what gives us pleasure, joy, happiness. I wouldn't be surprised if lots of you come and say, hey, I've basically had to go to a place that was related to my childhood, a place I haven't seen in a while, I revisited. That has already happened to me in the pre-shadow period. I have noticed that I'm going to places that I was younger, when I was a teenager. Those are very prominent things that can happen. When it comes to children, you can have miscommunication with your kids, especially if you are co-parenting, dates, picking up, dropping off. You can have miscommunication on how to parent children, okay? How to direct when it comes to kids. How are you parenting your kids? Tensions and conflicts can happen about children or with children. Tensions and conflicts can happen with family members, people you knew from your youth. Tensions and conflicts can happen with romantic interests. So that being said, I do find Mercury retrograde to be a very helpful period. It's truthful, and I love that. We all need that clarity of truth when it comes to our most important relationships. And I will also say what is a blessing about Mercury retrograde. It allows us to complete things, complete projects, especially now if you're an entrepreneur. If you've been working on something, and if you're an entrepreneur, you can really create and complete your creation. Now, if you are an entrepreneur, you could also notice some tensions when it comes to your creative endeavors. Confidence is key for that success. Things might be a bit slower. Creativity and how you perceive yourself and your confidence is vitally important. This Mercury retrograde is asking us the big question. And the big question being, how can you align to your most confident self? What from the past is keeping you back from confidence? And how can you be confident and present and go forth? And I must say, during Mercury retrograde, think before you speak. We can decide to be a bit more vocal because it is in Leo. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's more public displays of arguments. Okay, we're not going to keep it private. Leo is the stage. So we take the argument to the stage. Things start happening, tensions, conflicts, delays, all of it starts happening publicly because that's what Leo does. And this might be a good thing because it doesn't allow us to basically sweep things under the rug, right? I do find this to be a very good Mercury retrograde overall. I like Mercury retrograde in Leo. I find it to be something that can help us with our sense of passion, our sense of confidence, and how to believe in ourselves more. That will be the biggest thing, regardless of everything else. And I do feel that it will teach us about impulsivity when it comes to communication. Great, like I said, if you have been having like creative projects that you've been needing to complete, you can complete it. If there's a creative project that you let slide, you now can pick it up again. Hobbies can come back again that you once did. You're also going to find ways to reignite what gives you joy and happiness in your life, passions, hobbies. You're going to have to find the time to reignite your inner child, and that's by doing things that are fun and enjoying, right? You could also spend more time with your children, maybe clearing up miscommunication, getting to the heart of the matter. Leo rules the heart. So these are very important things. I feel like people owe you money during Mercury retrograde, especially for creative ideas, creative works. It can come through to you. This is such a potent time. So don't look at Mercury retrograde as something to be, oh no, it's going to be a hot mess. No, it can be something that we can use to our growth, our sense of purpose, and how we can find confidence, passion, joy. When last did you have fun? This is what this Mercury retrograde is telling you. What did you do in the past for fun? Maybe you should do that again. When last did you indulge in your hobbies? Remember, Leo is the heart, and it always wants us to follow through on what's right for our heart and what makes us happy and what gives us joy. And this is what this Mercury retrograde is bringing to you. Aries, Mercury retrograde in Leo. Now, you're a fire sign and Leo is a fire sign. So you can definitely feel the energy of this Mercury retrograde. Definitely going to influence romantic situations. So if you were in a relationship, you can notice that you're having more tensions within your romance. There can be more conflicts. There can be things needing to be revealed. It doesn't have to always be something bad like secrets. Maybe it's just how someone felt on the inside or how you felt on the inside. But either way, emotionally, you will be revealing how you feel, or the other person might do so and tell you how they feel. What I would suggest is to think before you speak. Right? Don't blow things out of proportion, especially with a Mercury retrograde in Leo. We can get quite hot-headed, right? We can really just jump the gun besides just listening and hearing someone out. And we will be encouraged to not want to hear someone out. This is Leo. Leo takes the stage. So everybody wants to, have their say. I would say take a step back if you can. And really have listened to what the other person has to say and take your steps from there. Take your cues from there as well. This would be a great time to not impulsively get into a relationship, a new relationship. If you get into a relationship at this time, it's okay. Don't sweat it. After the retrogrades, really see if you truly feel the way that you feel. What happens during Mercury retrograde is our perception of events become, skew. So we don't really see things very clearly as it is. Our mind is feeling this mental fog of the retrograde. So getting into a relationship can be tricky because once the retrograde is done, you or the other person decides this wasn't what they truly wanted. Now, like I've expressed, if you get messages from exes, because this can also happen here, this is influencing your romantic life directly. Exes can definitely come back into your life, especially someone that you had a fling with, a romantic interest, or maybe even a childhood love. And this is very prominent and can come into your life. Let's talk money. So now, when it comes to money, because Mercury rules over communication, negotiations, and contracts, this is about what makes you feel happy, joy, pleasure, and creativity. If you're an entrepreneur, there can be some delays here. If you've been working on something, you can complete it. You can receive money owed to you for your creative efforts that you've previously done. I will say this is a great time to align to what makes you feel confident when it comes to your creative efforts. Work is creativity. Whether you're a banker, an accountant, you got to creatively see those numbers and come up with those calculations, even though there is a formula to it, to see the answers. That's what makes someone else great and the other person, okay. This is because of the creative genius that we put behind our efforts and work. So that being said, this is a great time to get in touch with you in a conference when it comes to your creativity, regardless of whether you're an entrepreneur and no matter what work that you have. Your creative energy pays off. So utilize it. Rethink the way that you are creatively thinking about situations when it comes to work, and really focus on how you can, redefine it or maybe reevaluate it. If something is not bringing you joy, you'll really be reflecting on whether financially you should walk away from it. Okay. Especially if it's not fulfilling your happiness. What you can do during this Mercury retrograde, which is great for you, is indulge in fun and pleasure. And it's encouraging you to do things from your childhood, what makes you happy, what gives you joy, completing creative projects, getting back into hobbies, relaxation. Have fun, Aries. I think this is vitally important for you. I think you burnt out, especially with the nodes, North Node in Pisces, South Node Virgo. I think you're exhausted. I think you're burnt out. I think you feel you've been working so hard and pushing so hard. This retrograde is saying, why don't you just relax? What makes you happy? What makes you feel alive? What hobby was it? What place? Do you want to revisit there? Do you want to feel that joy? That's what it's asking you. And I don't think you should brush off joy. Joy is a big part to what makes us feel successful. If you have children, tensions could arise. If you share kids with someone, tensions and miscommunication over kids can arise. That being said, try to think before you speak and make sure you take everyone's point of view into consideration here, because it is a Mercury retrograde in Leo, so we very much focus on our point of view, our voice, what I need to say, right? Leo is where we lead, and we want to lead with what we say, and we don't want to hear from anyone else. But that is what can create regret during retrogrades, because we oftentimes are now following through on what the energy is giving to us instead of taking a step back and saying, hey, okay, my child is saying this to me. Do I need to have better boundaries? Do I need to lay down the law? Or do I need to reevaluate how I was raised and what way am I raising my child? So these are pivotal things when it comes to obviously parenting with someone. Try to co-parent in the best way that brings peace for children. Okay, that is very important. Other than that, I would say this Mercury retrograde can give you a lot of sense of like going back to rediscovering your joy, your happiness, your pleasure. Taurus, this Mercury retrograde will be squaring you. It's in the sign of Leo, so it's going to be creating a tension towards you as a Taurus sun, Taurus rising, even a Taurus moon. This is why sometimes the sun, moon, rising is important, especially when it's going to be making aspects, now depending on the degrees, obviously, but it can be making aspects and make you feel uncomfortable. Now, this Mercury retrograde for you is influencing home, family, emotional well-being, safety, security, legacy. Okay? This is the legacy that you gain from your ancestors, what you receive. So you could notice that when it comes to your household, there can be more tensions within your household. Okay, people that you share living space with. It can be family. Yes, family tensions can definitely happen. It can also be people that you share your home with. Whether you have roommates, tensions can arise. So miscommunication, misunderstandings, and definitely conflicts. This is where everybody wants to say their piece and nobody wants to listen. It's Mercury retrograde in Leo. So it's where we feel my point of view is the right point of view. I'm the one calling the shots. We lead. Okay? This is what we do here. So take a step back from that, because we need to reanalyze with Mercury retrograde in Leo how we approach leadership. This is also going to ask you, how do you lead within your family? These are the type of questions that you will be asking yourself. If you are needing to move home, right? And if you've done it before the retrograde, great. Okay, this means that you're just completing the cycle. If you need to sign a contract for a lease or a property that you are purchasing, please read and reread. Take your time with it. Most times we can sign on the dotted line and later on come to regret the choices we've made. And I'm speaking from experience here. I've tested this out many years ago, where I decided to sign on the dotted line during Mercury retrograde, and it was a rental property, and I didn't stay there long. I had to leave, right? It wasn't the right place for me. So I'm just letting you know, if you need to sign, make sure you read and reread. Make sure you understand what you're getting yourself into. In fact, that applies to all contracts, not just home, but you could be going through that process. Now, when it comes to your emotional well-being, you'll be noticing that you're reflecting on the past, childhood experiences, how you were nurtured and cared for as a child. This is important for emotional healing. This Mercury retrograde is going to bring some healing to you, Taurus. It wants you to look at patterns. How were you loved? How were you nurtured? And how is that creating this sense of leadership in you? How are you pushing yourself forward into the world? Did it block you? Did it give you less confidence? Did it make you insecure in leadership? And how can you release that? Now, Taurus, exes. Yes, exes can come back. This is Mercury retrograde in Leo. Leo rolls over romance, so exes can come back for everyone. I would like to say for you, it's going to be, if an ex comes back, it's someone that you felt emotionally vulnerable with, someone that you got comfortable with, someone you could have even felt safe with, someone who felt like home, or someone who shared a living space with you, that you moved in together. that type of relationship. But it's also someone that felt like home, someone you gave your heart to, because it is happening in the area of your like emotional safety and security. I will say Pluto is in Aquarius, and there's going to be some tensions that come up when your like career, your goals, your ambitions. It's also retrograde. This is a time for you to really step up into your power, Taurus. Like, I know you're going through so much when it comes to your career. Pluto in Aquarius here really wants you to be like, you know, an edge. It kind of wants you to be like do or die. It kind of wants you to be like, you know, this is my power. This is what I want. This is what I got to do. Pluto allows you transformation, to let go and shed all layers of you for you to step into your power. You could even be noticing that there are more power dynamics when it comes to employers, right? Authority figures, even if you're self-employed, maybe it's a place where that, you know, the place that holds a lease for where you're working from. This is power plays when it comes to authority. But you are to really find your own sense of security within you. This will be vitally good for you to step up into leadership. What is yours. Defend and also, you know, step into that power, especially what is your security, Taurus. I will say this Mercury retrograde can bring back people from the past, especially family members for you, people you haven't seen for a long time. You know, they can come back into your life, people that you allowed into your home. You know, maybe you had a sleepover with them one time. They can come back into your life. This is also a really great Mercury retrograde for you to find what gives you emotional peace and security. If your anxiety is racing, take a step back, find your inner peace. This will be vitally important for you. Like I just discussed, when it comes to money, you might be worried about like finances for your home and stuff like that. The best thing you can do is to step into your power and transform your career, because that's where the power play is coming from. Truth will be revealed to you, and like insights when it comes to career versus home, and what's blocking you when it comes to career versus home. But this is a moment in time for you to step into your power to find the stability, because our home life is what we want to be stable. That's where we need to pay our bills in order to have the home that we want, but the career is what we need to go out into the world and get. And this is going to ask you to reevaluate how you're creating that stability financially within your home. Rethink things, reevaluate things, and what changes and transformations and powerful moves you need to make when it comes to your career. Gemini, Mercury retrograde in Leo. Do check your sun, moon, and rising. Now, you are ruled by Mercury. So when Mercury goes retrograde, it happens 3 times a year. So this can feel quite challenging for my Geminis. Geminis generally find Mercury retrograde, which happens 3 to 4 times a year, to be like, oh my goodness, not that again. You know, learn to embrace it. I'm going to be honest with you. It is something that happens 3 to 4 times a year. So the best way to get through it, like I said, I do have an ultimate guide for Mercury retrograde. It is something to help you navigate these challenges, but let's get into what it means for you. And also let me know down below in the comments, what are you experiencing? Because you would have already experienced the pre-shadow period, which started in June, okay? Now on the 18th, Mercury will go retrograde in the sign of Leo. So the usual, the miscommunications, the misunderstandings, the delays, the frustrations when it comes to your card, check and double check. You are Mercury ruled. Any trips that you're booking, check and double check. Short distance trips as well, appointments that you're making, people from the past can re-enter your life. For you, I would say this Mercury retrograde would be a bit of a challenge because it is influencing communication, ideas, learning, neighborhood, short distance trips, information. So you're going to get the gossip if anyone's been gossiping about you. This is things that have been said, you will find out about. If you said anything, this is where it can come out too, right? Mercury retrograde is infamous for bringing out what people say behind closed doors. Now, I will say to you, can you hear from an ex? Yes. This is possibly going to be where an ex will text you, email you, call you up. Communication for you is like people from the past. It can be anyone from the past, but if you're seeking exes, yes, DMs. This is social media. They will get you anywhere they can. You might bump into them in your neighborhood. You might bump into an ex when you're running your errands. Okay, your neighbor might tell you that they saw your ex, or someone will tell you, hey, you know what, I saw your ex, that kind of thing. Okay, Now, you can come across tensions when it comes to neighbors. So be aware of that. No impulsiveness, right? Set healthy boundaries. Think before you express yourself. Tensions can arise. Maybe you're noisy or you find them noisy. Stuff like that can happen. This is Mercury retrograde in Leo, so noise can happen. Maybe they had a party and it went till 4 a.m. and they didn't let you know. And you have pets and this really stressed you out. These type of things. So your neighbors can also be creating tensions. You can come across tensions when it comes to siblings and relatives, right? Miscommunication, misunderstandings, conflicts, old issues come back to be rehearsed and let's talk about it again. Okay. You can also notice more delays when it comes to contracts, deals, negotiations. If you're trying to study, you might find it more challenging. You're lacking the ability to concentrate, easily distracted. This is also if you are anyone in content creation or anything to do where you have to speak for your work. Okay, maybe you're a news anchor. Issues there as well. So, what is this Mercury retrograde good for? Mental clarity and peace. You deserve it. This means, and I'm sure Uranus is in Gemini now, and you're a Gemini, so your mind moves pretty quickly. Uranus is really hey, electrifying your mind. So you might be noticing you're thinking of this, you're thinking of that, you're doing this, you're communicating to that, you're just doing a lot. This is asking you to slow down and just create that mental peace. Meditation will be good for you. Even if it's 5 minutes, you got this. Okay. This is really great for maybe receiving an apology from someone that you've been awaiting on, a heartfelt sorry, or a message from someone that you had fun with and now they connect to you, or someone you knew from childhood, someone that knew you and your siblings, right? This is great for visiting an old neighborhood that you used to live, or vacationing at a place that basically you went in your youth, or you haven't been there in a while, but it gave you happiness. Great for relearning skills. If there's something that you need to relearn it. It's great for rewriting, especially if you're writing a book. Really utilize this time for journaling. The whole point of this Mercury retrograde for you is wanting you to slow your mind down. So it wants you to literally sit with your thoughts and reflect before you express them. It will give you truth, all types of truth, because Mercury retrograde is about truth and things being revealed to us. But it gives you clarity about the relationships that you have. I will say, if I were you during this Mercury retrograde, I will seriously consider seeking what gives me joy and seriously paying that place a visit. So if it's some place, whether it's the ocean, whether it is a park, go there. Relax your mind. Okay? It's vitally important. I think the more relaxed you are, the easier this Mercury retrograde will be. Vehicles, check your car, check it. This is also ruling over cars, so car expenses unexpectedly. So check it, make sure everything's in working order so that, if something needs to be replaced, it's not needing to be replaced whilst you're on the road. That way too, you avoid accidents, right? Slow down. If you move quickly during Mercury retrograde, accidents are bound to happen. So just slow down, focus on your mind, give yourself mental peace, use a diffuser, have some lavender burning. That will be great. You're needing mental peace. That is the biggest thing. If you decide to date someone that's an ex, once the Mercury retrograde is done, you can really think clearly whether this is something worthwhile. But you're looking for sincerity of the heart with Mercury retrograde Leo if exes come back. And like I said, tensions can happen for you with anyone, everyone, because it's influencing your communication, from neighbors to siblings to relatives to just your communication in general. Okay, so do take it easy. Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Now, Cancer, I want you to take a step back this Mercury retrograde. Really focus on value and sense of self-worth. Now, Jupiter, yes, is in your sign, offering you that luck and opportunity, and you need to believe in yourself. But a Mercury retrograde in Leo, it really takes from everyone's confidence, not just you, okay? It influences our sun sign, particularly because Leo is ruled by the sun. So you might be questioning your confidence of late. I will suggest to you, it's going to influence your money. Do not go spending crazily. Okay, I know Jupiter's in your sign, offering you luck, opportunity, expansion, and growth. But this Mercury retrograde is asking you to reevaluate your finances. And this seems to be a journey that you've been on in this year towards the end of last year when Mars went retrograde in Leo. And then Mars went retrograde in your sign in January and came back into Leo. So you've been dealing with this reevaluation of money and income from last year already. It's nothing new to you, okay? So this is really saying to you with this Mercury retrograde, reevaluate your finances, your income, the money that you earn through the work that you do. This is not other people's money, it's your money. Okay, and it's saying the work that you do to get paid, reevaluate your earning and your confidence about earning and your sense of self-worth when it comes to your earning. Expenses can come through, especially unexpected. Something can break and now you need to spend money. That's what happens during Mercury retrograde. So I wouldn't suggest during this time to go wild and buy a lot of things. And I know that Venus and Jupiter is going to align on the 12th of August in Cancer. And that's going to really make you a magnetic. It can also make you want to spend more. So all I'm saying is just don't do it, right? Rather use that time to be more magnetic about creative opportunities so you can receive more money. Other than that, finances is big. Now, if someone has been owing you money, you could reap the rewards. You could get that refund, okay? So refunds can come in. Someone owes you money. They will pay it back to you. If there's work that you've done previously before the retrograde and it's been stalled, the payment, now the money flows through to you. So old projects, old work gets paid. Money owed gets paid. If you've been waiting for a refund, it gets paid. Like I said, be mindful with your spending habits during the retrograde. It's not that long. It's only 3 weeks. Okay? The post-shadow period is until the 25th of August. But I'm just saying, take it easy. Okay? You don't need to go wild. Now, what happens with love? Exes can return, especially if it was an ex that you saw value in. You valued them as a person or they valued you. If you're in a current relationship, tensions will arise about money, spending of money, spending habits about money. This is where conflicts within a relationship can arise. Can be a partner, can be anyone that you share expenses with. Tensions can arise there. So try to focus on the solution, and like, what is the issue? How can we seek the solution through this period? But I would say, exes that you saw that valued you can come back, or you valued. This will also be, like I said, tensions within existing relationships. Is it a great time to meet someone new? No. Now, on that note, your values are asked to be redefined. Especially with the Mercury retrograde in Leo influencing your money, your values, how you value yourself, your sense of self-worth. I will definitely say some affirmations. I know people think it's a whole lot of hogwash, but I can guarantee you stepping in front of a mirror and really affirming that you're worthy of everything that you deserve and feeling it really can allow more wealth to come into your life, because your sense of self-worth will be tested. Your value will be tested, and this is going to influence your money too. So if you're in sales and you're feeling like, oh, I just had my partner tell me, not appreciate me, it's going to be a struggle for you to get those sales. Okay? You will be very aware of people who don't value you. Oh my goodness. If you are dating, if you're in a relationship, if you're married, if you got children, and they don't value you, you are going to be asking these people, do you value me, and what is the purpose here? And you might even set some boundaries on your time and energy, because you are going to increase your sense of self-worth this way. Creative endeavors. Think of creative ways to boost income, especially old creative projects that maybe you put to bed or you didn't think about. Maybe you were redoing your resume, you wanted to redo it, make it some sort of font. You refocus on that and you can put that forth now, because it's something that you've done in the past and maybe you put to bed or got busy or distracted. Great for completing those old creative projects in order to reap financial rewards, or even old creative ideas. Maybe you had a creative idea of how to have a budget previously and you thought, oh, let's just relax on it. Now you can implement it because you've done it previously. You can't pull things from the past that you've already been working on or wanted to do during a Mercury retrograde. It's an excellent time for that. And like I said, not like you're going to be broke. You can receive money from like people owe you money or work you've previously done, or if you've been like pursuing, like sending out your resume to different places prior to the retrograde, you could receive the contract during the retrograde. Just make sure that you read and reread, right? It's a completion of basically things started before the retrograde. So you could reap those rewards through those efforts that you have previously done when it comes to your finances. But it's not a time to like, oh, there's this person, let me get involved in a business with them all of a sudden. That's not going to work out for you randomly that you don't know, or they come with this opportunity to you now, or you make this large purchase right now. Do comment down below. Let me know how you're feeling about this Mercury retrograde. Was this helpful? Any questions? Down below in the comments. Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Happy birthday to my Leo Suns. And I know we are starting off with the Mercury retrograde during your season. Do you feel it's going to be bad? It can only be as bad as you allow it to be. See, Mercury retrogrades are great for completing cycles. If someone's been pulling the wool over your eyes or keeping you there on a power trip, this is where you step into your power. Pluto is retrograde opposite, okay? In the sign of Aquarius. So this is like power dynamics in personal and professional relationships. I feel as a Leo, you're going to find your authentic self. Like you're going to rediscover your confidence. You're going to rediscover your inner power. You're going to rediscover what makes you a Leo. You're going to rediscover what makes you happy. You're going to rediscover what gives me joy. And the moment you do that, you're going to be standing on business and you're going to be like, I don't think I have the time for this nonsense in my life. And this is due to, big fact, Mars went retrograde end of 2024, December 2024 in your sign. So you've been dealing with this tension. Mars retrograde in Leo, went into Cancer, then Mars came back into Leo and stayed there in that post-shadow period through most of the year, half the year, right? So there's been a lot of tension for you, especially. And with Mars retrograde in Cancer, it wasn't that easy for you either. That was a lot of like people like projecting their anger onto you. Okay, and you feeling exhausted. So it's like it's your birthday, the sun comes into your sign on the 22nd, and then you get this Mercury retrograde on the 18th, and you're like, you know what, who am I? What do I want? You're asking yourself the big, bold, and important questions. Like, what makes me me? What makes me proud to be me? And who is taking away from my pride? And your joy. And it's so pivotal for you. So Leo, exes can come back into your life. Okay, Mercury's retrograde Leo, you do rule over romance, joy, and pleasure. So guess what? Someone from the past can come back. Leo, you will also notice if you're in an existing relationship, tensions can arise, especially if there's already been deceptions and power plays and power dynamics. Pluto is an Aquarius, that's like hidden stuff, as well as it's retrograde. So truth will be revealed about personal and professional relationships. So if you're in a professional relationship, yes, even if it's with a company, or even if it's with a friend, or even if it's a business partnership or a spouse, the truth is revealed about how things really are. Personally, truth will also be revealed. Any of your one-on-one relationships, a romantic level from a friend to a parent, you're very much aware of power dynamics during this Mercury retrograde, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a great thing for you, because once you know where you stand, this is when you remember who you are, you claim your power, and you're like, you know what? I don't need to deal with this. When a Leo walks away, the light in everyone's life walks away. So don't forget who you are and the joy that you bring. And if you're being disrespected, this is your moment in time to like be like, sorry, okay? You're not taking that no more. And because I know like from December and earlier this year, you could have been on that space where you were just dealing with so much and you were exhausted as well. So now that being said, vitally important, we spoke about goals. You'll rediscover your goals. You'll rediscover your passions. When it comes to money, rediscovery. So any goals or ambitions that you had, like, oh, I wanted to try this out previously, you can now try it out. As well, This can be, if someone owes you money, you might even need to step into your power. Maybe you might need to be like very like analytical, direct in communication about it. Could even make it something legal, that sort of thing. But this is power moves it's giving from you. Other than that, I would say the best way, like if you're not dealing with that, the best way for you to make money is to reignite your joy, your passion, your fun. Remember what makes you happy, because when Leos are happy, that's when they receive the most attention, most eyes, their light returns, and this allows for you to receive more prosperity in your life. Okay, that's the big thing. You are really needing the light to return to you. So best thing for money, for love, for relationships, light needs to return. Because Mercury is retrograding in your sign, this can create a lot of tensions with everyone and anyone. People might misunderstand you, take you the wrong way, you know. And with this, I think people expect a lot from Leos. They really do. They expect them to always be perfect, right? Stage, light, camera, action. They always expect you to be on point. And I think this creates this idea of Leos never having to say the wrong thing or make a mistake or falter, right? That's a lot of pressure when all eyes are on you and people are always treating you in that sort of way. Lights, camera, action, perform. And when you don't perform, they take you the wrong way. So I'm really saying you don't need to be everybody's light. You don't need to always be the one that is always being like perfect in a sense, because there's a perfection that needs to be for you to be on stage all the time. And you will be feeling like, hey, sometimes I might mess up. And if you take that the wrong way, or if I'm needing a little bit of rest and I'm not out here to play, because people are always calling you out to play, to have fun, to do this, to do that. You know, even if you're not in the mood, this is where you might just say you're not in the mood and people take it the wrong way. Listen, if they don't understand you when you are feeling like you just want to invest some time and energy into you, then they're not there for you. It's that simple. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising. Okay, Mars went retrograde in Leo in December of 2024. And then it retrograded back into Cancer and came back into Leo, where it stayed until like May 2nd of 2025. So you've had this energy of just exhaustion and tiredness and having to deal with subconscious feelings and people projecting their emotions onto you. Mercury retrograde in Leo, July 18th until the 11th of August. The pre-shadow period started June 30th. Take note. 25th of June, the post-shadow period is done. Virgo, you ruled by Mercury, okay? And you've been dealing with the retrograde in Leo earlier from end of last year, earlier this year, and now Mercury's retrograding again in Leo. Please rest. Your health and wellness and well-being is important. This is where unexpected things influence our health. And this started already June 30th, where you either need to be isolated, spending time alone, spending time in healing. This can even provoke anxiety for you, sense of abandonment for you. You could even feel that people are abandoning you, walking away from you, or you want to abandon a situation. This Mercury retrograde can really bring up situations from the past and unresolved issues. Yes, can be a conflict. Not that something that happened like 2 years ago. This has been like something that happens every couple of months. Now this issue is back in your face. I would say you need to meditate. You need some time alone. You do. This is isolation. Mercury here is like behind you. So it's really like private time, isolation. It's great for seeking healing, spiritual understanding, seeking a spiritual mentor, astrology reading, psychology, therapy. You are ending a lot of cycles. Exes can come back into your life, especially exes from your past shadow. And I put this out. People are like, what is shadow past shadow? It is the kind of relationships that trigger your innermost fears, doubts, and insecurities. It's the kind of relationships where you put your trust in and they abandon you and you feel isolated and alone. It's the kind of relationship that triggers the insecurities from childhood, the past conditioning and patterns, your subconscious triggers. It is a kind of relationship that sometimes can feel like an addiction, that even when you know it ain't good for you, you still keep going back, right? These are exes that come back into your life. There's a karmic emotional baggage there, especially if you need healing or the other person needs healing. If you are in a current relationship and tensions are arising, it is going to be over past events. Past secrets, yes, secrets, especially for you, hidden secrets that are kept away from you come to light. This is also be a time where you'll be questioning the relationship and what it's doing to your spirit, what it's doing to your vitality, what it's doing to your energy, what it's doing to your health. I will say, if the relationship is healthy and maybe a past situation is coming up, this is where healing is necessary and private conversations that are spoken from places of deep emotional understanding and on the soul level. Okay, when the person doesn't have soul level understanding with you, then it's not gonna work. It needs to be soul level. Like, I can be so vulnerable and trust you, and I know you're not gonna walk away and you're not gonna do the same for me. I'm not gonna feel abandoned by you. I will say, biggest thing, take care of your health, take care of your health. Pluto's retrograde in Aquarius, right? And Mercury is gonna be retrograde in Leo. These are opposite signs. This is all work, health, and routine. Physical health, mental health, emotional health. Take care of you. Let's talk money, okay? Because we spoke about love, we spoke about relationships, we spoke about health, the most vital area that it's bringing up for you. But I will say just one more thing is that hidden enemies can come to light for you. So people that do not have your back, okay? You'll be very aware of that. I will say, when it comes to money, this is you're gonna feel, when it comes to finances, you kind of feel foggy about it, like, what's going on here? You haven't been seeing things clearly throughout this year. You can financially get money that you trust and surrender. It's kind of like manifestation here, where you have to like let go of how it's going to show up for you and allow it to show up for you. Take the action, take the inspired action, and let it show up for you. This is behind you, so you can't see what's going on behind you. This is the area of unseen realms. It's God stuff. So you're going to have to trust in the unseen. You're going to have to trust in your intuition when it comes to money. You could reap the rewards for creative endeavors, and I say, like, if you make music or art, great, or spiritual work, great. Other than that, it can feel like things are a bit slow, but it's a short period of time and it's not the best time. Especially if you're in work. When I say financially slow, meaning like if you're an entrepreneur, but if you have a job, it's just telling you to basically, or if you're contracted to a company, just kind of like, rebudget, reanalyze, refocus. Don't spend it all in one place kind of thing, because then you'll feel like a loss. This is the area of endings, grief, loss. So that being said, you don't want to grieve a loss, like, you spent your money gambling, or you bought this expensive washing machine, okay? You want to really take it slow. You really want to rethink about things. Like, if you're getting this washing machine at this price, where's the other place where you can get it at a better price? What is reasonable for you now? Doesn't mean you can't upgrade in the future, and what you have, you can always resell it, right? Think smarter. Okay, but don't think let's go big and go home, because this is Mercury retrograde in Leo, and it means sometimes with our money we can want to go big and go home without really reevaluating our current circumstances. So that being said, I will say that's vitally important for you. Really be easy with yourself. I'm sending you so much of love. Comment down below, Virgo, how you feeling. And how you experiencing this Mercury retrograde, what is showing up for you. I'd love to hear from you. Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising, Mercury retrograde in Leo. Okay, so this can really just cause tensions with your social circles and the people that you choose to associate with via choice. Friend group, work group, hobby group, family group. If you got a poker night together, yes, tensions can arise. The moment that you are in a social circle or dynamic, maybe that work group and you are collaborating on something, yes, tensions can arise. So you're going to find these tensions arising when you socially interact with others within social connections. I can say this can also happen online. You might say something, someone takes it the wrong way, and it becomes a whole endeavor that you don't want to be a part of. This can also be where you rediscover old friends. So maybe a friend that you haven't spoken to in a long time comes back into your life and gives you so much joy, especially if it's a friend that mattered to you, especially if it's a friend that, gave you a good feeling, a feeling of love. Okay. Libras do love their friends, and there are certain friends that they really share a special place for, like in your own heart, and have that connection with. This is also great for like collaborations. If you've been collaborating with someone and you continue collaborating, great. Okay, just make sure that you're communicating well through collaborations or partnerships. I will also say, when it comes to how you proceed when it comes to your future wishes and dreams. Maybe you had ideas in the past and you like let it slide. Now you can re-implement it. So maybe your future wish and dream was to start a social media page, a YouTube channel, an Instagram, a TikTok, and you slept on it. Now you can pick it up and do it again. Okay. So this is creative ideas that involve social dynamics in some way. Maybe you used to sing before and like you stopped for a while and life got busy and chaotic and you didn't have the joy for it. Now you decide to invite some people and sing for them. Or you used to play the piano and now you pick it up, but you want to do it in a way where you invite a few friends over and you're playing the piano, you invite them to a recital. You were doing things that are creative hobbies from the past, but you're sharing it amongst friends and the community that you hold dear. I will say the most tension you will come across will be in your social dynamics. So just be aware of that. Just make sure the people that you surround yourself are heartfelt and, there's love there that can really prosper. And when it comes to, like I said, money-wise, you could also focus on collaborations, networking, deals that you previously thought about. You can implement it now, or you could close the deal, reap rewards financially for deals being closed. I will say to you, vitally important, romance and exes. Yes, exes can come back. And they'll come back in weird ways, like especially if that ex was someone that you shared a social community with. Right? If they knew your family group or they're part of your family group chat, or if they, spend time with your friends. Maybe you and that person love to do badminton together, okay? And now you're no longer together, but you still play badminton and they moved on to a new badminton group of people. This is where maybe you come into contact with each other through social interactions. Your exes can come back. Or maybe a friend will say to you or a family member, hey, you know what? You remember so-and-so? Oh, guess what? I saw them again and they are doing great, or they're unhappy and it made me think of you and now they share this with you. So you can hear about exes through your social interactions, or you could meet an ex through a social interaction where you're getting together to do something very socially, as well as an ex can connect to you online. They could send you a message, they can email you, social media, they connect you, Google, they use it. Right. This is, so we spoke about money, we spoke about exes. Love, there can be tensions if you and your partner don't share the same future wishes and dreams. So if you in a romantic relationship, you're married, you might be questioning whether you are a team and whether basically we are working, collaborating with this together. Are we butting heads here, or are we on the same page? And you'll be asking yourself the big question. Do we share the same future wish and dream? What is my future wish and dream? What is your future wish and dream? And is it aligned or is it misaligned? Where do we stand with each other? How can we compromise? And is compromise even possible? Because Saturn is in Aries, and this can mean that you are restricting our relationships that you feel you overextending yourself to. Okay, do comment down below. Let me know how this Mercury retrograde is treating you. I tried to answer love, money, and how it's showing up for you. Let me know in the comments how it's showing up for you within your natal chart and what you're experiencing, and I'll respond to you. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Mercury retrograde in Leo. Leo is a fixed sign, so our use is going to really influence you. Okay. Now, December 6th of 2024, Mars went retrograde in the sign of Leo. So you've been dealing with this throughout this year, okay, with tensions and frustrations. Mars is now direct in Virgo, but you have been dealing with the stress and tensions of career authority, because employers, parents, if you are self-employed, your landlord would have been creating the stress and tension because they're an authority figure. So think authority, this is where you're receiving the most stress and tension. This rules over Mercury retrograde is happening in the area of career, goals, ambitions, sense of purpose, and reputation. So even if you are retired, this is still your reputation. People are still going to know you for something. They're still going to say something about you. Okay? This is the reputation that you have. It's also your sense of purpose. So say if you retired and you were a banker, now maybe you've taken up, you want to open a daycare. Or if you don't want to open a daycare, maybe you now into Bamington, okay? You are into something that now people know you for, right? You're doing it for fun and pleasure, but it's still something that you're known for. What gives you joy, it's your sense of purpose. So whether you're retired or working, either way, this is going to influence your reputation, your ambition. So if you play badminton, your ambitions is to play really well. If it's your career, your ambitions is to get that recognition and get that promotion and to see yourself grow within your career. You're going to be questioning and redefining your career path. You're going to question and redefine your sense of purpose and what gives you joy and happiness and what is fulfilling you on the inside. If tensions are rising with employers, landlord, if you have a business, authority figure, or parents, take a step back. Boundaries are necessary. Know that people are now perceiving you the wrong way. Reputation is at hand. Like, this is your reputation. It's where people are now misseeing your reputation. They're seeing it in a different light. If there's anything you've done shady when it comes to your reputation, guess what? It's out there. Even romantically, this is your reputation. People will know about it. If you've done something shady at work, if you've done shady business dealings, it becomes known. It's public. Whatever you do, when Mercury is retrograde in Leo, if there's something that you wanted to keep hidden and it was shady, whether it was romantically, whether it was business dealings, whether it was at work, whether it was with anybody, this is your reputation and it becomes known. If someone has been doing something shady to you, this is where you also find out about it. But now it's your reputation, meaning like maybe this person deceived you when it came to the contract that you signed with this company. Maybe this person deceived you within the relationship. And this is now defining how your reputation unfolds. Do you give in and say, okay, it's all right? Or do you step up into your power and say no more and walk away? This is that moment of power. Like a Mercury retrograde in Leo is asking you to redefine your power. It's asking you to redefine your sense of leadership. You can get money for work previously done when it comes to your career. So you can get money from work you've previously done or efforts you've previously done. So even if you're retired and now you're on retirement, it's work you've previously done and you get those payouts. Okay, so it's career money. It's money through career, some way, somehow. Now, this won't be the ideal time to make any impulsive career choices, like impulsively, like, I don't know what it is, but maybe I want to start a knitting business. I've never done knitting before. Please, right? You can now impulsively want to redirect your career. This is asking you to review, reanalyze, right? Once Mercury retrograde is done, you can really focus. But career tensions and struggles are coming up, unless like there's something in your chart that says, hey, you're here to make this like persistent, bold, out there kind of move, then do so. But ideally, this is asking you to reevaluate, reanalyze, state your boundaries over here. When it comes to past loves, let's talk about that. This is where ex can come back to your life and you might see them publicly, right? Even online, publicly. Online is also public, or even in person, like they might hit you up in your messages or comment on one of your posts or like your photo, or this can be to the point of like you publicly run into an ex. If you're in an existing relationship, tensions and conflicts will arise, home living situation, as well as anything that's been kept hidden emotionally, and whether you and this person share the same long-term goals and like what we are working towards, the structure of your lives. Like, do we share the same goals, or have our goals changed and have we evolved in different ways? Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury retrograde in Leo, a fellow fire sign. So if you bump into an ex, it could be someone you traveled with, someone that you met while you were in college, or you were studying, teaching, or publishing something. This is when you would have met this person. So exes can come from those areas of life. Someone that you shared a similar philosophy with. Within an existing relationship, tensions can arise over beliefs. Beliefs. This will be what tensions can arise over. Like, what do I believe for my life? What do you believe? Like, do you want children? Do you see yourself not having children? Tensions can arise over beliefs. Now, if there's a compromise, things can be worked through. Mercury retrograde here will deliver the truth to you about situations, okay? Also, this Mercury retrograde, if you're dealing with legal matters, there can be delays. Things can feel a bit held up, tied up. This is just the Mercury retrograde process. If you've been dealing with the legal matters before the retrograde, understand that things can move a lot smoothly. This can also bring tensions with in-laws, okay, especially if you're married. This can be miscommunication, misunderstandings. It can be small, it can be big, depending on, the family dynamic and what is truly going on there. But ideally, this can be miscommunication, like I said, with a spouse or a lover or a partner over our beliefs. And if you're married, tensions with in-laws. Other than that, this is a great Mercury retrograde for you. I know. Besides those things, if it comes to money, you can earn money from past endeavors where you were seeking opportunities to expand and grow. So your money will come from past endeavors. Or if you were doing a course, teaching a course, or coming up with a course, you will reap the rewards for it. Or if there were past foreign investors that you were negotiating with, they can come through. Currently, you're re-evaluating opportunities to expand and grow when it comes to finances, ways that you can do so. Some of you might even decide to go back and study higher education or go back to teaching. A lot of you might decide to travel, to go back to a place you previously traveled. If you are traveling during the Mercury retrograde, you know the deal. Make sure that you check the time, the date, and everything is aligned, and that things can work out smoothly. Delays can happen through travel, especially. So go early. Make sure that you have time for everything necessary for things to progress smoothly. I will say this is a great Mercury retrograde for you to rediscover your sense of purpose, what freedom means for you, and your spiritual journey. You might even go to a spiritual location. Maybe it's even a location that you've visited previously, right? So some sort of spiritual site that is significant to you. It can be religious. It doesn't have to be religious. It can be a place of spiritual, connection to you. This is really great for history. Maybe you might even get into the history of places, or wanting to know more about the history and study of places. This is really just opening your mind to find your passions and joy. And it's a great way for you to really embark on this journey. Would I say this Mercury retrograde is that intense for you? Not necessarily, because it is inviting expansion, growth, your sense of spirit for adventure back into your life. I will say at the same time, though, because you have Gemini opposite you, which is ruled by Mercury, you can have tensions with relationships, personally and professionally, especially during Mercury retrograde periods. And as I've already discussed what those, themes might be along. When it comes to a professional relationship, if you're having misunderstandings or questioning this professional alliance, like if you're working at a company, a business deal, or collaboration, does it give you the sense of freedom? Because as a Sagittarius, you are seeking freedom when it comes to what you want within your career. So the contracts and deals and negotiations that you sign are vitally important, and hopefully are giving you that sense of freedom, because that's what you are craving as you're stepping forward. Do comment down below. Let me know your placements. Let me know how you're feeling about this Mercury retrograde. Like I said, freedom is key here. And if anything is stifling that freedom, it seems like you want to walk away from it, and you're seeking freedom financially, emotionally, spiritually, even like to the point of wanting to travel. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is going to influence intimacy, shared resources, debts, loans, taxes, losses. So That being said, this Mercury retrograde is pretty intense for you. Hidden fears and anxieties can come to light. Secrets will be revealed. Intimate relationships that are draining you, intimate relationships you have been in physically or emotionally, you are going to be setting some healthy boundaries here, especially. So emotionally is like where I share my secrets with you, and physically is where I share my body with you, just so we're clear. Now, that being said, exes can return into your life, someone you were emotionally vulnerable with, someone that you are physically vulnerable with, physically, sharing your body with. This will be a time where you can see those people really emerging back into your life. When it comes to your romantic interest, tensions can arise over debts, loans, taxes. Financial resources will be the source of conflict and tensions within this connection. So find a way to communicate and seek solutions whilst doing so. When it comes to your money, you can reap money from previous efforts put in. So if you've been putting efforts to previous situations like financial investments, passive income, maybe you've been saving some money, that money will come in handy during this time. Okay, you might reap the reward, get that passive income through, or you might get that money from that loan that you applied for before the retrograde comes through, or you might receive that loan from someone, it comes through for you at this point in time. Or anything that you've been investing your time and energy with, you will reap the rewards. I will say be very clear, because this will be a time for you to rebudget how you're spending, saving, and making money. You're going to refocus on how you're doing these things. You're going to reanalyze, reevaluate, revisit. You might go back to an old way of saving money or an old way of making money or something that you did before that helped you out financially. That being said, this Mercury retrograde for you is deeply emotional, transformative. It is an area of life where we reflect a lot on past losses, past grief, past pain, past hurts, past trauma. You could have them through dreams. They can come through visions. They can come to you like you might be daydreaming and all of a sudden you feel triggered by a past memory. Maybe something happens within your reality and it comes back again. This is a moment in time for deep healing and releasing, right? And this is a time for you to reconnect to your most deepest spiritual, profound self, because it is a moment for also spiritual work. So whether it's meditation, whether it's a tarot card reading, whether it's psychology or seeking out that kind of help from someone, this will be pivotal for you. This is only for this point in time when you're going through this feeling of emotional crisis. This Mercury retrograde will bring up crises, especially past crises, and just a feeling of loss. This is the area of death, right? A loss, an ending. So you could also be more reflective of losses and endings. This is a deeply emotional, profound time for you. So besides money and intimate relationships, and even if an intimate relationship comes to an end or information comes through, it feels like a gravity, like a weight, on you of emotional loss. And this is really a profound time for you to do the healing. And it's through communication. So finding someone to talk to, and if you can't talk to someone, write it down. Do comment down below. Let me know how you're experiencing this Mercury retrograde. It doesn't have to be all that bad. It can be a Mercury retrograde where you truly are facing your fears to step up into your most profound financial abundance self through investments. This is power moves. It's other people's money. So the more you release the emotional weight off of you from past experiences of lack or loss or pain, the more you free up yourself to receive more financial wealth. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising. Mercury is retrograde opposite you. Pluto's retrograde in your sign. Time for you to step up into your power. Hidden information comes to light. Secrets from your relationships, personal, professional, and exes, everyone, right? This is where you just see the truth about your relationships. You will see anybody that you're sitting with one-on-one, the truth is revealed. Secrets come to light. They tell on themselves. The information is in front of you. Trust your intuition. Pluto is in your sign. Okay? Step up into your power, Aquarius. Pluto is in your sign. This is about power. It's about facing your fears of betrayal, loss, abandonment, and rejection. And stepping up into your power and letting go of relationships that no longer serve you. Exes can come back into your life. Yes, people you've dated from in the past will come back. People you were married to, they will come back into your life, right? especially there's unfinished business there. As well as, right, you can have the most miscommunication when it comes to romantic relationships, close relationships, professional relationships, but romantically. Romantically, these tensions can arise due to power plays and power dynamics. So if you're in a relationship, it's going to be about power and who has the power, and you learning to step into your power. You can feel like these relationships are trying to push your buttons. Okay? Boundaries are necessary. You can also find these tensions within your professional relationships. There can be delays in contracts, deals, and negotiations. Sign contracts is here, so you can also have this, right? If you've been waiting for information or contracts prior, June 30th, you can't reap it. It can't come to you. You can't reap the reward for that professional contract that brings in the money that you want. This can bring a lot of tensions, like I said, to relationships. I think you are the sign that's going to have the most tensions with relationships and secrets and information being revealed and things having to be seen that need to be seen. Boundaries are so important. People you haven't seen in a long time will reemerge into your life. These are the people that you are one-on-one in contact with, so even friends. This is also the area known as open enemies. So, this Mercury retrograde is definitely not here to play. This could also be, asking you to not rush into new relationships. You might feel the need to rush into it impulsively. Don't. Think before you get into a new love relationship during this retrograde. You're kind of not seeing your relationships very clearly, right? And there can be a lot of, like I said, manipulation here. So, because Pluto's involved, there can be an intensity. People can be very drawn to you, obsessive now. So, most importantly, remember those boundaries. I will say, when it comes to money, you can reap money for contracts and negotiations started way before, or contracts you've been awaiting for. You can get that contract and get the money. Negotiations prior to this can now come to a point of closure or sealing the deal. I will say, do not get into any new business negotiations or contracts. If a contract comes through, do read and reread. It is Mercury retrograde and our mental faculties are offline. So give yourself that space and time, okay? Other than that, I think you're just learning about healthy boundaries within relationships and stepping up into your power, right? This is the most profound time for you. And it's really a great time for you to delve into that power within you and not seeing the power lie outside of yourself within other people who try to make you feel powerless. Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Do take care of your health during this Mercury retrograde. You could be feeling burnt out. You could be feeling exhausted, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Manage your stress. Your stress is going to be up there. All you need to do is bring it down here, step by step. This is your day-to-day routine, and it's what gives you joy and pleasure within your day-to-day routine. Get in touch with your creativity again. Find what makes you happy within your day-to-day routine so you can minimize your stress and increase your health and well-being and your productivity. Come up with a schedule that works for you, because you need to feel like that burst of energy and work with it and make sure that it's good. Even if or maybe you had a schedule previously, you're going to go back to the old schedule that you did have. But a schedule and making sure that you have those healthy practices, meditation, 5-minute breath work in between tasks, eating well, sleeping well, very much necessary. Not pushing yourself, till the edge of like break burnout and breakdowns. No. Now, exes. Now let's answer why exes could come up for you. Firstly, you're a Pisces. Virgo is opposite you. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So Mercury retrogrades can encourage exes and people from the past and you to reminisce, and as well as exes to reach out. This is due to your partnerships, business, professional, and marriage relationships, connections to others, all being ruled by Mercury. So that being said, Mercury retrogrades can bring this up. You might reconnect to someone that either you were very supportive towards, or they were very supportive towards you. Someone that you could rely upon in time of need, or they could rely upon you. You could also reach out to someone that was a big integral part, or they could reach out to you, of your day-to-day routine. Someone that played a role within your day-to-day routine. So maybe each day you went out for lunch, or each day you all did something that was part of the routine that was necessary for the relationship, right? So someone that maybe would send you good morning texts, all part of your routine. So an ex in that regard can return. Okay? If you're in an existing relationship, there's going to be tensions over responsibilities, right? Who needs to do this? Who needs to do that? So tensions within your day-to-day routine. You could also come across tensions within your day-to-day routine. Feeling frustrated and aggravated because things seem to be delayed, and because they're delayed, you're taking longer to do them. And this can bring up a lot of frustration for you. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay? This is just a Mercury retrograde. It shall pass. Patience is necessary. Like I said, it's a lot to do also with you feeling frustrated by other events. Sometimes this can lead to actual arguments within relationships. I will say, old co-workers or people you've worked with previously can come back into your life. When it comes to money, you will reap the rewards for work you have previously done, right? Work and effort you've previously done, you can reap the rewards. This is not a great time to make changes to your work life. It is asking you to re-look at your work life and see if it's the best place for you. If you've applied for a new job prior and the contract comes through now, this is a completion phase. It's a good thing you could get that job, right? Mercury retrograde can give us contracts that we've been waiting for prior to the retrograde. Just make sure you read and reread and you got everything fully understood in what you're getting into with this contract for this work. Make sure you take your time. Really take your time to take care of you, because this does encourage self-care. Okay, Pisces? Let me know, Pisces, how is this resonating with you? How are you feeling? Are you taking care of your health? Are you feeling a bit burnt out? We are coming close to the end of the year now, right? So it's very necessary. I know it's the middle of the year, but once we hit August, you know how it goes. So comment down below. Let me know, Pisces, how you are feeling and how you are doing. Thank you so much for watching this video. Sending you so much of love. Mercury retrograde is definitely not the end of the world. There are a lot of opportunities to be had, and we can see ourselves prosper during a Mercury retrograde. Remember, Mercury retrograde is not here to punish you. Yes, it can give you the truth, but it's the truth that you need to see. But at the same time, I've noticed with Mercury retrogrades, opportunities that I worked on prior to the retrograde, I do reap the rewards during the retrograde. So consistency is key throughout our lives to find success. And if you'd like to work with me, link down below, as well as links to the Mercury retrograde ultimate guide.